meeting is in session. Please. Roll call.
Welch, go.
Kennedy.
Strawson.
Mary?
You put me up first?
No, I'm just asking if you're here.
Oh, you want me part of the roll call? Yep. Mary Jones.
I know. All right. Minutes from the previous meeting, please advise the status of those. Any comments or corrections that you see need to be made? Mason,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
July
second.
10th.
Welch, go.
and Strawson,
Yes.
Welchco,
Yes.
Yes.
Kennedy, Quigley, yes. New business. We have a consultant here who would like to speak at this time. Mr. Bob Porter.
I'm representing your law firm this evening, Ansel Blink. I'm not an attorney by law, but I've done a lot of township and a lot of practice before. And there's 8 points we'd like to bring back to the township board.
Can you speak up, please?
Well, I'm going to speak as loud as I can in this room, so if everybody else is quiet, I think we'll work it out. All right, some of this we do in educational trainings up and down the state. I work with TOI quite a bit. You have not made those trainings, so we're going to do a little of that tonight. It's going to take about 5 to 6 minutes. There's 8 points, and the public can learn a little bit here tonight too. First of all, you're the elected or appointed legal officials of this township. You are the officials until such time as you resign or not get elected in the 2021 election cycle. Residents chose you to manage this township. You're the ones responsible for the township's decisions. 2, you do not have to accept implied or physical threats, imitation, or bullying by individuals or political action committees. You should contact the local police or sheriff depending on where any of these actions occur, and you should file complaints against such persons. File a police report and let the law enforcement deal with this issue. Your decision to having a police officer at your meetings is appropriate with this threat atmosphere on some of the officials, and we are aware of some of that. That's why we bring that to your attention. 3, your attorneys are in communication with the Illinois Attorney General's office and the Will County State's Attorney's office in regards to issues at this township. Neither of those offices have expressed any major concerns regarding your performance and duties being conducted by you. The AG's office, that's the Attorney General, is aware of the high battery of FOIAs being served in this township by a small group of individuals. Their office is also aware that you have no employees and your roles are part-time elected officials responding to such a large number of FOIAs that this township has received in the last couple months at least, if not the last weekend. They are aware that FOIA can be abused by the residents in using a FOIA for harassment purposes or in a manner not intended by the General Assembly, but the law is the law. You are utilizing your attorneys to help process these FOIAs with requests. The Attorney General is aware that you're using Ansel Blink to help you process this. We recommend that the township hire an outside security firm and install monitoring cameras here in these township offices. It has become clear that individuals are illegally accessing this office and tampering with your records and your equipment. The cameras should be fed directly to the cloud to prevent deletions except by those approved persons. Persons illegally in the township offices should be prosecuted to the fullest force of the law by this township board. The township has the legal right to protect its property, services, programs, and facilities from disruptive persons. The police should be called upon any person causing a public disturbance or threatening township program users and let the law enforcement deal with these persons. You are not to play cop and go out there. Let the law enforcement take care of this in your facilities or your programs. 6, we suggest the township officials do not come alone to this township office anymore. With the remoteness of this office and the recent confrontation of individuals with officials leads to concern of the physical safety of you, the officials of this board. We recommend you come in pairs or do not use this office until you have a pair there. It's just, you don't need to have the confrontation, you need someone here to be present to help out. Our lawyers are recommending the township change its policies, reserving 100% of your park site for private use at any one time. You have a legal position that was presented to you by our law firm representing leasing portions of the site out for private use, which is allowed by law. 8, you do not have to allow public interruptions at your meetings. The township policy allows the public to speak for 3 minutes per person in the matters from the public. The police officer will remove any persons disturbing the meeting. The board is not required to respond to any comments made during matters of the public portion of the meeting. They should take the comments under advisement. The comments during the matter of the public may or may not be factual and may or may not have any relationship to township government or may be presented by a township resident or any person in the United States. These are just recommendations. You have no action because you didn't have any line items, but we recommend you give it consideration at your next meeting.
Thank you. Okay, bill presentation. Here are the town bills for your review. It looks like you guys have taken the time to review these and sign off on them. Do we have a motion to accept, approve, payment?
I move to accept the town bills as presented and pay them.
I second the motion.
And Kennedy,
Yes.
Strassen,
Yes.
Welchko,
Yes.
Quigley, yes. Motion approved. You will find payroll summary for last month is in your packet to review, and as well as the budget versus actual report for the road district as well as the town. The road district, bank balances as of July for the building and equipment fund is $15,791.69. The joint bridge fund is $84,122.64. And the road and bridge fund is $345,997.98. Okay? Our total payroll for last month was $4,177.88. And our total expenditures for the park district was $2,111.57. And the total fund distribution is $4,786.72. For the town, our bank balances are, general assistance fund is $65,980.85. Our park fund is $1,966.23. And the town fund is $43,448.80 as of the July bank statement. Any questions or concerns? C is a security issue. Last Sunday I came out here to do some work. When I got here I found that the lock on the door, not this past Sunday but the Sunday before, the lock on the door to the town hall had something stuck in it and broken off. We ended up having to change the locks because apparently there was some attempt to get in. We did find some scratches on the knob as well. So we did change that lockout. We also, while he was here, we've been working on getting keys for the assessor's desk as well as the clerk's desk, and he was able to secure those as well for us. So we were able to get those taken care of. The assessor, we have Mary Jones, who just got notified that she did pass her test.
Finally.
So she has the contract in hand, and we will be working on getting that signed. Also, she has some other processing that has to happen with the state and recording and all that good stuff yet. But the test is passed, so that's a good thing. We do have, I was on my way back from Muscuda last week and I received a phone call from OSHA. There is a complaint against the road district right now for the fact that the emergency eye wash area is not available. It's under lock and key. They have sent out a letter to Travis. I have not seen it yet, so I don't know anything about it, to know what their recommendations are or anything like that. But he did call me and tell me that he would be sending this letter to the road commissioner. So we will need to address that as well, once we get that information from Travis. Park fees, please note that we have a legal opinion, and we have posted that. It will be posted in the papers as well, so that that's known to everyone. And at the recommendation, we will be making some changes, just kind of getting it in line and tighten it up, since there's a lot of concern about the park. We're going to have to tighten up a lot of things and get more in line with some things. And we'll get that lined up and discussed and ready for next month's meeting. Our FOIAs, this weekend we received 41. So we'll be addressing those as quickly as we can. A number of them are quite lengthy, and will require a great deal of research back as far as 2009. Okay, is there any old business? Park report?
Did some cement work at the park, and got some donations.
How many donations and what was the dollar amount?
Excuse me. Call to order. Mary, anything from the assessor?
Just that the deadline for appeals is September 4th. So if you'd like to appeal the property taxes, first of all, we hope you would come and talk to us locally, see what we can do. And then if that doesn't get you satisfaction, you can go to lowcountysoa.com and file an appeal there. But please always start with us, and we're here to work with you. Other than that, I do have more paperwork that needs to be done, sent to Department of Revenue and such. Like they said, I did pass my 6th class, so it's just a matter of getting the paperwork done and then being certified. And I don't know if it's time to talk about the contract, but I wish we could meet separately and talk about it, because there's a lot in there that I question, and things missing that I think need to be put in it. So it's, in my opinion, not ready yet, and until I am certified, I don't believe I should sign it.
Okay,
Anyhow,
I get that, I get that. Would you mind if we made a copy? Are your concerns here listed?
sure.
All of them?
And if we could
I
maybe set
mean-
up a meeting too.
Yeah, but they're, all your concerns or changes that you want, or concerns that you think need to be
Questions I-
clarified
Yes.
are listed here?
Okay,
You don't
I'll
have to
make
do
a
it
copy.
now. It's fine, we'll do it. Alright. Any trustee reports? I would like to report on some of the comments that were made, and brought up at the last meeting. We did have a question about the park. We have kind of pretty much covered that. In some of our discussions already today. We did have a question regarding the debit card, and that was established by a previous board, and if there are any changes or any concerns that need to be made, or changes that need to be made, we'll be looking at those as a board. We have yet to hire a bookkeeper, but we are out looking for one to address that. That question was raised by Mrs. Marshall. The question was also brought up by Mr. Allen regarding closed session having to be listed on the agenda as to why. I did check with the state, and according to them, it does not have to be on there. But the reason and the purpose of any closed session that may be called has to be put into the motion as it is being called. But a closed session does not have to be listed as to what action or reason, because a closed session can be called at any time during the meeting should an action need to be taken that falls under the closed meeting criteria. Any other reports from any of you?
I'm gonna discuss, having a FOIA,
Oh.
office or something.
Yeah, okay, going back to the FOIAs, guys, that volume is just really high. And I would like to propose that we get some support for Sarah, because she is fairly new, she hasn't been here for 2 months yet. And we could, maybe get her some support and, possibly, get someone in here to help her. I would like to know what you feel about that and what your thoughts are.
Fine with me.
And it has been recommended to us to get someone.
It's the only way you're gonna get them out in recommended time.
Yeah, I don't see how she can keep up with it. There's just no way.
And I'm for hiring a trainer and a FOIA officer combined for a limited time until,
I would think 2 months would be plenty. I would think no more than $30 a session when she's with her, but we'll, between $25 and $30 a session should be enough. Is there any question or thoughts?
The thought is, the FOIAs are a little bit different depending on what takes place on them, and writing up, an answer and so forth. So we'd have to be open to something that's, somebody's spending time here, that they, learn the job and
Exactly.
get the job done.
Sarah would be involved in this. It would not be something where she'd be excluded. She would be part of the process so that she learns all the steps that need to be taken, the exemptions, the criteria, the redacting, the whole nine yards. Because we've had a lot where we've had to redact things.
I had a much smaller amount, and I felt like I was buried just working on 9 one weekend. And,
So it would not be somebody just singularly doing it, it would be in conjunction, so that she would learn as well. Another thought was that we might open up, and I have talked to the Attorney General's office about it, we might open up, and this is something that we need to discuss with Sarah, and have a day a week where there would be a 3-hour time frame where people could come in and inspect and copy records if they would like to. And the times would be varying based on the fact that you'd want some morning hours for those that work, afternoons, and then you'd want some evening hours for those that work days. That is allowed under the FOIA Act 3H and I, so that is something I'm working with the Attorney General on right now.
Like a comment?
Yes.
It's not
That's
public
that's
comment.
very admirable.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a very admirable thing to do. Just so you know, your attorneys have recommended that it is not waiver your responsibility for FOIA underneath the state statute. So
Correct.
if someone still submits a FOIA in the normal process under the state, you still must comply with that. It's a nice gesture to do that. You can't always accomplish that with someone coming in because you may not have the records here on the site or you can't find them in the dig research time. So just so the board is aware, it does not eliminate anyone from filing a normal FOIA.
No, that's not the indication at all. The FOIAs would still be responded to, but it would also be an option for people to come and take a look at records if they chose to.
May I make a comment, Chairman?
We do need to make a couple of adjustments to the rules and regulations according to the Attorney General's office, and we are getting support on that through
When?
the attorney
When?
that we're dealing with right now. All right?
I didn't get
If
that
you
kind of
just-
support when I was the FOIA officer.
If we could now open the floor to public, you are limited to 3 minutes, and if I could please ask, once a person is recognized, allow them to speak without interruption so that they're not, so they can be heard. If they're being given the floor, they have the right to be heard. Mr. Spinelli.
Yes, it seems to me that eye wash should be put inside here where most of the mechanical work is, because they do work with different cleaners and oils and such not. It's good if you want to keep this back here, but there should be one in there.
They do have a water available to them at.
They have an eye wash station inside there?
No, but they have water available, but and I'm just saying it could be easily done.
I'd be willing to
Since
install
they're
it
water.
for you if you get one.
Okay, eye wash station in, your name, please?
Debbie Militello, Will County Board, District 6, which everyone here lives in. I apologize, I was here once, said I'd come back. Family issues, my father passed away, knocked me off a couple of months, so so I wasn't back as fast as I'd like. But I want to tell you today something that is going to start affecting, I think, this area, and we've been dealing a lot with in the county, are solar farms. So I think they're coming your way. I know they're coming your way. We haven't heard the case yet for the solar farm in your area, but they are coming your way. There's one in Manhattan right now, and the Manhattan Township Road Commissioner came in today. So he's, so you guys might want to reach out to Manhattan, or I don't think he's here, right? Your road commissioner's not here right now. Might want to have him talk to Manhattan, because I got what he said. He said, when other things have come in, they've brought in heavy equipment to do whatever, and it sometimes tears up the roads. So he wanted to have a remedy for that, and I thought that was a great idea. So they're coming back next month with, language that we can put in with the solar farm, put in with the agreement. So, townships, roads don't, if something happens to them because of heavy equipment, they have an avenue to go back and try to, recoup that money. So it's a great idea. I told him I thought it was a good idea, because I know townships don't have that much money, and you guys can't afford, other things coming in. But I just want to let you know that solar farms are coming your way, and we've done everything we can do. We've slowed them down tremendously, and just because they're approved at the county level does not mean they're going to be approved by the state or this aggregation or this electrical thing. I forgot there's so many kilowatt hours, and I forgot, and I apologize, how many kilowatt hours they get, but there's only so much through the whole state, and, the applications are way above what is gonna happen. So, you know, just because one's approved doesn't mean it definitely will take place, so it's like a lottery. So, if, anybody has any questions, you know, where to find me?
How do we know whether there's one coming or not?
That'll be on the land, it'll come before the land use committee. And if you want, I'll be afterwards, I'll be glad to answer any questions, we don't go over our time limit, and I'll stay afterwards, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else for comments, please?
First of all,
Your-
John
your
Kraft,
name, please.
John Kraft, if you would just say how much donation dollars you got in your report, you'd save another FOIA request, but I guess you're wanting to bump those numbers up to justify hiring somebody. Another thing is the instruction on the police officer removing people from the room. The chairman is in charge of this meeting. The police officer does not remove people until the chairman instructs the police officers to remove people, and you left that out of your little speech. You should give everybody all the information. This memorandum, use it as toilet paper, that's all it's worth. Publish it in a newspaper, we'll run some full-page ads of our own in that same newspaper. It's ridiculous. And Miss Kennedy, I don't know who the hell you think you are, going down to the park, handing out notes, calling people park harassers with license plates numbers, names, vehicle descriptions, telling people it's against the law to take pictures of kids in a park. It's not. It's a public park. You can take pictures of anybody in that park at any time of day, anybody that wants to. Unless, of course, you're a convicted pedophile and you're not allowed into a park. Which leads me to the other thing. You insinuating that because you thought a person, and you named her, might have taken a picture that could have had a child in the picture, you brought up and insinuated something to do with being a pedophile. And I think you owe everybody an apology. But we'll get the apology one way or another. And no, that's not a threat. I don't threaten people. Additionally, I just forgot what I was going to say, but if I have some time left, I might remember it.
You got 48 seconds.
I'm glad everybody's not disrupting the meeting this time and paying attention to the gavel. That's what the gavel's for. The park fees, you can't charge for park fees. You don't have recreation and instructional programs. Programs are structured and supervised. You have none of those. That's why the language of the Park District Code says that. The park is set aside forever for the free use of the public. That doesn't mean unless you want to lease part of it and enclose it. That's not what set aside and forever for free use means. My time up?
Time's up.
Thanks.
Anyone else have anything to say? This gentleman back here?
Neil Bradbury on Hensey Road. Sometimes it takes 8 or 10 calls to the road commissioner and he never does return a call. And he'll come out eventually when he wants to and not address the problem. That's about it.
Anyone else?
Nick Esposito, I'd just like to know, have you ever gone on record as calling yourself a park ranger, Kathy? Have you ever put it in writing that you are the park ranger? Yes or no? No comment?
No comment.
Okay. And then, now the water down at the park, is that free for everybody to fill their tanks up and take them home and use them at their houses? Or
It's
just
not-
your friends?
It's not potable.
Well, There's people taking 500-gallon tankers down there and filling them up and taking them to their house. And then another guy that's not on the board here is just watering whenever he feels like he wants to. Is that something that's needs to be done in a drought? Anyone on the board? No one wants to say anything about the water being sucked up down the park? That's what I figured.
Anything else, Mr. Esposito? Thank you.
Nobody's gonna answer anything anyway.
I got one. Why does it take so long to get help, assistance on the utilities?
He ain't gonna answer you.
General assistance,
You mean you're experiencing a hardship and you need help?
yeah,
There's the people to talk to.
I already have.
He has you have an appointment, I believe, on Monday, correct?
Yeah, but I already got my, disconnection thing and it'd be too late by then.
I can work on it in the morning, but it's gonna be very early.
Well, I've done took care of it now. But I was needing it a few days ago.
As I recall, well, like I said, we had several appointments set up with you, meeting here.
All right, maybe
So
next time.
thank you very much. That's what's. Next. I thought I saw somebody over there.
Me?
Yeah.
Connie Forsythe. Beginning of the meeting, and this is just a comment, Mr. Porter stood up and read his little speech about the board members being threatened. I don't think anybody in here has threatened any of these board members. We've been
Quite the
threatened.
opposite.
We've been threatened. All we've ever asked out of you people, just like tonight, it was wonderful. We walked in, there's a packet. Had you people have started this from the get-go when you took office and stopped sitting there letting all of us ask questions and no comment, no comment, no comment, but you gripe that you got 41 FOIAs over the weekend, that's why. You work for us. We are the taxpayers. We deserve our questions to be answered. We don't deserve you people sitting up there, not talking to us, being hateful when you do. And when you're hateful to us, then we kind of get an attitude towards you. Every one of you sitting up there, you work for us. We deserve to know where our taxpayer money is going to every month. We put you into those seats. We've only asked for honesty and transparency. We have threatened nobody. We have not spent a penny of taxpayers' money doing anything that we've done. You have all asked for everything you've gotten from the public, from your attitudes, your dishonesty, and your secrecy. Now everybody thinks you're hiding something. Sooner or later we'll find out. Because we're going to keep on with the FOIAs if you can't be adults and answer our questions. It would be wonderful to walk in here to a meeting. This is what we did this month. Oh, that's wonderful. That's, you know, we're not here to fight this. These meetings every month are a joke. You go home with your blood pressure so high just over your attitudes. But to tell people that you're being threatened, that's more lies that are being told. Nobody here has ever threatened a one of you. Not a one. We, on the other hand, have been threatened. And you can threaten till hell freezes over. We're going to FOIA if we don't get the answers that we need. Answer us in a meeting, you don't have to worry about it. And we can all get along.
Any further comments? Mr. in the blue shirt?
Kirk Allen. Legal opinion dated August 8th from Mr. Rock. Falls well short of sound legal advice. Under the discussion portion of the opinion, second paragraph, section 1-1/120-5 is referenced and is partially accurate. Quote, held and maintained and improved as public parks for free use of the public. The important part he left out is what is before that portion. Quote, to be set apart and forever held and maintained and improved for free use by the public. The very next line, he cites section 1/185-10. That citation has absolutely nothing to do with township's ability to enforce reasonable fees for recreational instructional programs. That citation is titled referendum. The attorney that claims that citation gives you that power to establish reasonable fees could not be more wrong. Read it for yourself. The same paragraph goes on to claim, quote, as a result, referring to the improper statute he cited, the township may charge reasonable fees for recreational and instructional programs it conducts in Rivals Lookout Park. What instructional and recreational programs does this township provide? Anywhere, let alone the park or anywhere else. I don't believe you provide any of them. That's the authority. He cites the wrong law. We've not identified any recreational instructional programs being provided by the township. Then and only then could you charge the public, and that power is under 60 ILCS 1/85-10, subparagraph J. Providing those programs makes them public programs, not private. Therein lies another message. The third paragraph confirms that we've said from day one, you can't close the park to the citizens. The attempt to claim the use of the park pavilion as described in the applications are for private purpose is amusing, as all use of the park is private unless it is a township recreational and instructional program, which is the only way you can charge reasonable fees. He goes on to misrepresent yet another statute, 185/10-D, and he says to, quote, make all contracts necessary in the exercise of the township powers and charge fees for the temporary private use of the park. Well, that statute, I encourage you to go read section D, because, quote, and charge fees for the temporary private use of the park is not found in that statute. He conveniently quoted what was in the statute and then added the words, and charge fees for temporary use, implying that that section says that, and it does not. And that's a clear misrepresentation that a layman probably isn't going to catch, but I can assure you the legal minds do catch it, and it's wrong. The law does not permit it. He's inserted that language in his opinion, and it's not found anywhere in it. There's no provision for temporary private use of a public park that clearly by law is set apart and forever held and maintained and improper as public parks for free use. And if you want to continue doing so, and claiming it's private use, I suggest you do a hard look at the township code on private/public property, and when you lease it out for private use, there's tax obligations. And you'll find that the supervisor of assessment is required to send the tax bill to the people that have that lease. And I don't think that's being properly done if you are leasing or renting out property, because private use of public property is taxable under the township code and the revenue code. The legal opinion is just like Mr. Kraft said, it's about as worthless as toilet paper. Although tonight toilet paper might be really helpful. I'm all done, thank you. And no, I think I got 15 seconds. Ma'am, I never said one word about what the agenda had to have on it relating to closed sessions. What I said was when you go into closed session, you have to cite why. Okay, that's not what you represented at the beginning of the meeting.
I misunderstood it. Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay. I would ask that if in fact I go a little bit over 3 minutes, that you bear with me. So I have FOIA'd the budget documents for the township. I haven't received them. I feel like at the public budget hearing that there was, again, a little misperception going on, so if you could just hand those out. I'm gonna go probably too fast for all you, but I really want the board to understand what you adopted. On this spreadsheet, there's 3 columns. One was the temporary budget that you okayed in April, so that you could keep operating. The second column was the budget that was posted for public inspection. It was at the library, here, and some other places. And the third budget, we FOIA'd from the Will County Clerk's office. And I just want to point out what I did not hear you guys say last month, that apparently you adopted. You adopted an extra $9,500 in revenue. That's 10% more. 10% more than what I saw in the paper. And it's rental income. I don't know what the township rents, but that's in addition to $11,000 worth of park revenue. So that means that the park's bringing in about $20,000. That's what this represents. Then we know about attorney fees because that was mentioned. However, all the park costs were not. None of those park line items were in the budget that was available for public inspection, nor were they discussed at the public hearing. That's about $8,000 worth. There's a reduction in the insurance cost, not mentioned. And there's a $15,000 capital outlay line item, only mentioned in the tune that you were gonna take 10 from there and move it to legal. So capital was not in the budget that I was able to look at. So how can I ask any questions about what you're doing if you don't give me something to look at that represents what you're working with? It's just, it appears to me that it's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And then if you look at general assistance, in April and in the public document, there was no spending, 0. General assistance was going to do nothing. In the adopted budget, there's spending all over the place. Primarily, there's $50,000 thrown into the contingency line item. So again, I'm not saying anything about your decision as far as where you're spending the money, because I don't know. But the fact that I feel like you did not give the public a chance to even look at what you're voting at is a violation. Also, you should know that there's no line item for income tax in there. So you did not budget for payroll taxes, okay? So that was just probably an oversight. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Leonard McCullough. We all sit here on a regular basis, like Connie said here, and we listen to stuff that never gets answered, okay? Our chairman, per se, brought up a temporary, said old business. What do we have left in old business that didn't get addressed? Isn't that what that's for? Is to address what was tabled last week, or last meeting? There's several items that got tabled, and nothing has been addressed yet. And I don't know where you want me to start at it. Park fee usages, we're supposed to have an answer for that. We're supposed to have an answer for limits on night fishing. We didn't get an answer for that. Handicap parking out front, that was supposed to have been addressed the next Monday. We'll get right on top of it. No smoking out front, still not posted. That again, we'll get right on that. Supervisor's report, we're not getting a supervisor's report. There's nothing laid on this table as far as the supervisor's report goes at all. This is old business that was to be labeled and carried over to this month. Nothing has been addressed whatsoever. General assistance funds, I think it's disgrace. We got people in this township starving. Can't pay their damn bills, and we got a surplus of money, and you can't make time to sit down and write them a damn check. There's no sense in that crap. Sergeant at Arms, we keep getting threatened with a Sergeant at Arms. What the hell is a Sergeant at Arms? There's nothing in the bylaws of any Robert's rules for a Sergeant at Arms. You want to go down to Masonic Lodge? Yeah, they got a Sergeant at Arms. Maybe I'll explain to you what it is. Sergeant at Arms does not belong under Robert's Rules of Meetings. Debit card policies. The law is real clear on debit cards. They're not allowed. There's no question about it. But yet you can continue to allow debit card use with no answers at all. This is all old business, folks. This was stuff last month you said you'd address this month. You wonder why we have such an attitude going with this? We get zero for answers. You wanna know why these people represent us in our regular meetings? Because we get zero for answers. We get threatened by the majority, I shouldn't say the majority, we've got a minority threatening the majority, okay? Majority being the taxpayers. Same with we address the rules on the park rules as far as the bookkeeping layout, that kind of stuff. There's no books. We see nothing on this park. We see nothing. How many contributions did you get last month? We don't see a damn thing. We hear a lump sum number that don't mean crap to us. And as Susan just proved, what you guys are reading on paper is toilet paper. It's not worth the paper it's wrote on because it's not accurate. We got a police officer back here, standing back there for what reason besides wasting our money? We got an answer on blank representative here that we spent $7,000 for last month for bad advice. You've just got that proved to you. It's bad advice, but yet we're paying him to sit here again tonight. And our supervisor recommends hiring him on a little more. Doesn't that make a hell of a lot of sense? You guys have created your own damn mess, is all I can say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sherry Akima. I'm just gonna request that you guys maybe go by a more accurate clock than the one hanging on the wall, because I tried really hard to get here at 7 o'clock, and I walked in the door with 2 other people at 7 on the dot, and the meeting had already been started, and the gentleman in the peach shirt was already standing and speaking. So I missed a portion of that, so I appreciated it. Maybe if the agenda says the meeting's starting at 7, I would appreciate it at 7. And then also you had brought up the fact that the OSHA violation. I was wondering, is there a OSHA poster listed here in the township building?
We're getting answers, aren't we?
I guess not, because the reason
No answers!
The reason I'm bringing that up is because I don't remember, I think it was November, when the Torma gentleman was here going over laws with you, he suggested at that time that you have a Torma poster posted because it's the law, and it's still not done. So I suggest maybe you add that to your list of things to do. The other thing was, I was not here at last month's meeting, but I watched the videos that were posted, and kind of the same thing to back up what Mr. McCubbin is saying, is that there were a list of questions that were asked that were either not answered, no comment, didn't want to address the issue, and at one point Keith Phelan questioned, and I quote, "We have heard a lot of questions and comments that have not been answered by the board in public comments. What is your plan moving forward? You said the board will discuss this. Will this be answered at next month's meeting?" Joanne Quigley replied, "The board will take under review and report on them at the next meeting." And we're here at the next meeting, and those questions have not been addressed, answered, and we're just getting ignored again. So I'm requesting that maybe you guys follow your word. If you say you're gonna do something, I'd appreciate it if you did it, and maybe answer the questions that you say you're gonna answer. That's it.
Next, anyone else?
Yep, she pointed you.
Okay, Carol Treadman, I have a bunch of questions that probably will not get answered. Some of them refer back to last week, which you never, or last month. Those questions have not been answered. Do we have any employees at the park? Somebody's gotta know that answer. Do we pay anybody at the park? Rich, do we pay somebody?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Okay,
Volunteers?
everybody's volunteers? You've closed the park for private gatherings, cold storage. I drove in there. Told them I was cold storage employee, and the Cub Scouts were more than happy to let me know that they were being paid to park the cars and I could park right over here. You've got Mr. Norton drawing beers off a kegger. Don't know if he was passing them out or drinking them himself. He is not a cold storage employee. We have Kathy Kennedy appearing to be cooking on the grill. She is not a cold storage employee, as far as I know. So why is it that certain people, when it's illegal to close the park to begin with, but certain people are allowed to go in? Are you being paid? I would like to know, how much did cold storage pay to rent that park? Bill, were you aware of any of this?
I just knew they had a party down there.
Okay, I didn't know any of this either. I drove in there.
I
So
saw the
this is
sign
what
on
I'm saying.
102.
So now, you've got, what's our liability here? Who's checking to see that these people are 21 years of age that are drinking? Because there was another private party there that I know there were people that were drinking that were not 21 years of age. So how liable are we here when we're renting out a park to a private organization that's illegal to do from the beginning? Now you're serving alcohol to minors or whoever. Answer it, Kathy, because you're the one in charge of all of it. I want to know, how does it work? Who's checking? You're serving alcohol, we know it. Who's checking IDs? Isn't that a question as a concerned citizen, taxpayer, and everything else that you told us that we're not covered if there's insurance, if there's alcohol there? Our insurance will not cover us. Yeah, you have private, excuse me, I am talking, Mr. Porter or whoever you are. This is my 3 minutes. Yes. Great. It's still my 3 minutes. You can cut me off, whatever, but don't speak while I'm speaking because you don't allow it either. Are you holding on to my 3 minutes? Is anybody going to answer any of these questions?
Does it have dram shop insurance?
I don't know about the park. I'll answer. I don't know about the park.
Thank you.
I don't know if the Cub Scouts were paid by the cold storage. I don't know if anybody was checking IDs. I don't know that. So I can't answer you. That's why I'm not answering you.
Thank you.
Not gonna lie to you, I don't know. I have a question for Mr. Allen though. Can I have 3 minutes?
Yes.
I have a question and I'd like to know how you propose we do this. Let's just say somebody in the community, whoever here, wants to have a wedding and wants to have the reception of the park and would like it to be just for their family. How do you propose we do that legally? What's your answer to that?
Well, I'm not an attorney, I can't give you legal advice. I will tell you, as a former township supervisor, we didn't have a park. But those who did have parks in neighboring communities had a first come, first served basis. If they wanted to reserve it for an event, they didn't pay for it, but they reserved it for whatever purpose they had. And that was how they did it, it was on a first come, first served
So anybody
basis.
could show up if they wanted to, even though they reserved it?
Yes, and it's because the public.
See, and that's what people that might have an organization or whatever would like to have down there and have it for themselves. We need to find a way to make it legal so that they can have it and it's all covered.
Change the statute. That's the
Change,
only way.
exactly, changing the statute is the easiest, and that's not that hard to do. We've changed many laws to address problems and conflicts, but on a first come, first basis, it's equal to everybody. And from a standpoint of, and she mentions the liability, when you start renting things out, there's tax obligations that are outlined in the tax code.
There's liability
insurance.
regardless whether you rent it or they're there for free.
But there's also indemnities when you're doing it properly under the color of law. You give up those indemnities when you stray outside of that protection. And that can be a challenge. I believe there's simple ways to do it. The way I've seen other townships do it is on a first come, first served basis. Whether that solves the solution you're looking for or provides a solution, I don't know.
And as far as the Cub Scouts being there or whatever, I'm not involved with that. I don't know.
If I may, I want to say thank you very, very much, because this is a type of a very positive dialogue that can help solve problems because you end up brainstorming and more people can provide input and guidance and directions and thought processes, and it can be done in a very informal basis without anybody losing their temper, and do it in a fashion that benefits the community. I thank you for the interaction, I really do.
I do too.
Thank you
It's-
very much.
Don't need applause, I'm just
don't-
telling you that I had no answers.
It's the truth though,
But
nobody else wants to
she
respond,
answered
Bill.
it.
Nobody else wants to respond.
Okay,
We appreciate the fact you
They have
responded anyway.
Kudos.
next, anyone else?
Next to you.
Sorry.
A couple things. You said that the board members have been threatened, and except for the last 2 weeks when I've been in classes, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. Why is this the first time I've heard of it? And I'm always by myself. I would appreciate knowing that kind of thing.
Because it didn't happen.
Probably on the same par as Falls and Island One calls.
And a couple of other things. Talking about the FOIA, you're talking about hiring someone to do the FOIA. Would that person be the FOIA officer?
No, the FOIA officer is the clerk and will remain the clerk.
We're talking about getting somebody to
Support.
assist the FOIA officer with the amount of FOIAs we've had. Because we have to have them out in a certain specific amount of time.
Okay, well, I was going to offer, as having been FOIA officer for the last 6 years as Village of Carbon Hill clerk.
Can I speak up? Okay, and hi, everybody, you will be a FOIA officer for the assessor's job.
assessor.
That's
For the
it, you
assessor.
are not for the township, you are for the assessor's office. So you are the FOIA officer.
So I cannot then
Actually, that's not
be
100%
for
accurate.
the township as well.
We have it, okay, correct me please, because we have that in the other townships.
The assessor is an office, and you have the power to appoint someone to be your FOIA officer.
Or she
Or
could
she
be,
can do
be
it,
herself,
but she
that's
doesn't
right,
have to,
okay,
you
that's
are in
right.
charge.
But she doesn't have a full-time employee to work for her or anything, that
Township
doesn't
doesn't
matter?
have, no ma'am, you don't have full-time people in the township either.
Mary has the floor at this time, please.
Actually, I was going to offer to be the township's FOIA officer. But as the clerk does not know the FOIA Act, I don't know how that would work. For one thing, there should be a list of documents that are available for the public to view, such as minutes, ordinances, that they don't have to FOIA.
Correct.
We need a set time that people can come in and view those. That's gonna cut down on your FOIAs a lot. Adjustments to the rules, I'm not quite sure how you can adjust the Freedom of Information Act. They're state laws, but I was going to offer without pay, but I will not do it as the clerk's helper. I would only do it if I was able to, and you would appoint me the FOIA officer. And I'm not sure, once I become assessor, if I can, to tell you the truth.
You mean legally or
Time-wise,
Okay.
you're talking,
Time
once you become
frames.
assessor, or time-wise is what you mean.
I don't know if holding the assessor's position, and Vicky may know, if I can then be involved.
That situation.
Because we are somewhat separate from the township.
The governor's getting ready to sign a new law into effect that will prohibit that.
As far
I
as
did
getting
hear about
paid,
that.
It's already passed and it's sitting on his desk.
as far as getting paid.
I would check with Rhonda Novak. I would check with Rhonda Novak on that,
I will,
before you do
Thank you.
that.
but it's
Before
kind
you
of a
do
moot
anything,
point.
I would check with Rhonda Novak, that's all I can
Sure
tell you.
will.
Joe Spurlock, one question for Mary. About assessments and that, will you be certified before that date of September that you gave out? Do you know?
I'm not sure how long, I just got the word today actually that I passed the 6th test. I don't know how long it takes by the time I put the application and get to Department of Revenue, all the, the paperwork.
Okay.
I'm hoping by the next meeting.
Okay.
Depends on how fast the wheels turn.
I'm sorry, I thought I saw him.
Very quick question for our assessor, along the same lines. You stated that, stated that if we had an issue with our assessments, we could come forward to you and discuss it. Even though you're not certified, you still have the abilities and the authorization to adjust or whatever needs to be done?
We still have an assessor
We
till
still
August
have an
31st.
assessor.
We still have an
Okay.
assessor, I'm the assessor, I'm not, what's the issues we have with our assessments?
Well, I just
just
question,
got a
It was
general-
just
I was just a general question,
Question.
if we had a.
Oh, I'm sorry, like, we have issues? No,
No,
sorry.
no, if we were to have an issue with our
We
assessment.
always have issues with our
but-
assessments,
But,
though.
but let's say September 1st, and you're not certified yet, are you authorized to go ahead and go forth in an acting role as the assessor?
As an acting role as the assessor, I resigned as of the 30th.
Right?
Okay,
If she's not
If-
certified
if
yet.
she is not certified, then it is Rhonda's office who can step in.
Okay.
And they will,
But
if
she
there's
can
an,
be the
if there's an
go-between,
appeal,
yes. She
she
can
will,
be the
she will
go-between.
be there with Rhonda at the
To
appeal.
handle the appeal, okay.
Yes, and so far, we only have one appeal,
Gotcha.
and, this town has had very, very few appeals, so it's nothing that's to be concerned about.
Mrs. Supervisor, thank you for this, your time.
I got a real quick one. John Kraft, that deals with open public meetings, and discussions at the table are supposed to be open, which is why you have an open meeting, and they're supposed to be loud enough for people to hear. And when you write notes and pass it back and forth when somebody's talking to public comment, that a discussion at a meeting, and I would urge you not to destroy those notes that were handwritten between Ms. Kennedy and the guy sitting back in the corner, because I will submit a FOIA request for a copy of those handwritten notes, because those should have been talked in the open where everybody in the audience can hear what you're talking about. That's the point of an open meeting. It doesn't allow you to pass little notes back and forth.
I just have a quick question. Did you get my payroll for road commissioner work? Apparently, it was submitted last month, and then there was a question about how much the rate per hour was, and so like right now, I'm going on 60 days waiting for my check.
Travis never approved it, he never signed it.
He never signed it, and he never turned in anything for this month before it was gone or whatever.
Well, I was here with them and sent an email that the bills were sitting in the folder right there. They're marked with the blue label. Joanne, did you get that?
I got it, but we have not had any approval from him, and
Well,
we
can you
did not
please
get them in a
approve my
timely. I can't, I'm not the road district,
He
I
signed
can't.
it. It's signed.
Last month?
It's in that folder.
When did he sign it? Cause it wasn't signed.
I don't know, Sarah left him a note.
Okay, I will check it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the extra question.
No, it's just that if he didn't sign it, if he had signed it, I would've been able to write the thing, but he didn't approve it, so I couldn't sign off on it. And I will check it.
Thank you.
Sandy Marshall, I just have a question. I guess it's for the board and for Mr. Porter, if anybody feels like they can answer. I wanna know what constitutes a threat versus just questioning what's happened. Because in Mr. Porter's speech, he refers more than once to the board being threatened. I know the board's been questioned, and we're questioning what's being paid, why it's being paid, how things are run, why they're being run that way. But I don't feel that that's a threat. So would someone answer that, please? What threats, what is a threat? And what is the question?
I'll answer this as a non-attorney, I don't think, do we have any attorneys in the room? We have a few that seem professed that they're kind of, as a non-attorney.
Nobody's professed that they're
That
an
report I
Exactly.
gave said defer that to the police to like them to make the determination of the actuality of what happened. That's exactly what should happen. It should let the law enforcement make that determination.
But you also stated that they were being threatened.
It's been alleged threatening and conditions, and so we
Alleged.
said we need to turn that over to law enforcement and let them do it with the proper authorities.
Did I hear you saying to the officer that somebody got pushed up against the wall?
Let's just say I had a discussion.
So you did say that somebody got pushed up against the wall,
No
so
comment.
that's a threat. Or there was actual action that happened. But you don't wanna discuss that with us.
It's up for law enforcement, I'll discuss that with them.
Feel threatened by you sitting there, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. It's very intimidating and it's threatening.
FOIA a copy of all the threats.
I have one other last comment. Mr. Porter, with the officer being here at every meeting, and at last meeting, Mr. Fritz was walked out of here.
Mr. Ranger?
According to the police chief, and this came directly from his mouth, the officers that are here are standing here only to do something if violence breaks out. There's never been any violence break out here. Now, there's been a 911 call saying that it was threatened and we were carrying, but that was a lie. So, as far as threatening us with an officer, the chief of police himself said that officer is to only step in if violence breaks out. So I think we all should get that story straight.
And quit spending the damn money.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Mr. Porter congratulated him on being on overtime when
Yeah.
he was here.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
Excuse me, order please. Sir?
Jared Spurlock, it's pertaining to the comment about the 911 call and possibly be holding. Is there a sign outside the building that says there's no firearms allowed in the building?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't paid that close of attention, I apologize, I was just curious.
Okay,
What?
thank you.
He recommended close the building, close the
I
meeting.
just wanna say, step by real quick, came straight from Tennessee. I just want to thank all the residents for allowing me to be your assessor. And I hope that Mary will succeed in what she's doing and continue on as, keep the open door, be transparent and follow the statute.
We have a feeling Mary
We
will.
wanna.
Thanks, Vicki.
Thanks for tax increase.
We'd like to thank you as well and wish you extremely good luck in your new venture. I know it will be fun.
Yes.
Amazing.
No more questions at this time. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
And I'll second that.
Aye.
How did we have Mr. Porter suggest we close the meeting and it happened?
Welchco,
Because he's
Yes.
the one getting paid big bucks.
Lawson,
Yep.
Our taxpayer
motion
money.
passed. Meeting is adjourned
It's called wasted big bucks.
at 8:10.